going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock, he hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
Dante will dribble it out. The Ducks are Pac-12 tournament champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It is Oregon baseball game day. The Ducks getting ready for Washington State in the final regular season series here at PK Park. Final regular season series, but hey, it could be not the final series depending on how things play out. Ducks are gunning for second place in the Pac-12. Traditionally, the second place team in the Pac-12, they'd host. There's 16 hosts around the country. It starts tonight bidding for that host opportunity. The Ducks against the Cougs, 5:45 pregame show across the Oregon Sports Network. Myself, Ryan Milano, on the call. Well, I think I'll be on the call. There is one person that can ring through my do not disturb during a live broadcast. It's my wife. We're coming up on 9 months pregnant. So, look, if the phone rings and we all end up on awful announcing, it's been nice working with y'all, and it's going to be great. But baseball tonight, I'm really looking forward to it. Ducks, Cougs. And you'll notice that there's a new pair of shoes on the desk. These were featured at the surplus sale, the special edition Blazers from last year. The retro Jordan 7s that we're giving away on Saturday, they have left the desk. They're now in preparation to be given to a fan. Saturday at noon, the Jordan 7 Retros will be given away. The custom University of Oregon edition must be present at the game. 1 entry per person. No exchanges. It's our way of saying, hey, thanks, fans, for coming out to the ballpark. We look forward to seeing all of you at 6 o'clock tonight, 6 o'clock on Friday for the Ducks' birthday as well. Brews in baseball tonight. And then at noon, it's senior day. Come early. Get yourself entered for a chance to win a pair of custom Jordans, and who knows, maybe these Blazers will end up as a giveaway too. I don't know. We'll find out. Right now they look pretty good on the desk though. They really complete the very full desk that we have here in the Country Financial Studio. On today's program, Billy Blood is going to join us. The Associate Athletic Director for Finance and Administration. Billy is one of the best energy guys I have ever met. The guy never has a bad day, and if he does, I've never known it. We're going to talk with him, get to know him, shine a spotlight on somebody that I think deserves a spotlight here on Duck Insider. Also today, and maybe it's fitting that we're talking with the finance guy, because it's Ducks Give Day. University's annual Ducks Give event, the athletic department has set a goal of receiving 502 gifts by midnight tonight, Thursday. 502. Why? One for each student athlete competing at the University of Oregon. It's a university-wide 24-hour fundraising campaign celebrating our past accomplishments to further engage students, alumni, friends, inspire philanthropy. I always struggle saying that word. Philanthropy to areas of campus that you're the most passionate about. For me, that's KWVA, the School of Journalism and Communication. That's why I got here. That's how I got here. And the University of Oregon Athletic Department. As a special thank you to our donors, all new gifts for Ducks Give will receive double priority points up to $2,500. Those priority points factor into your season ticket selection. For those of you unfamiliar, you'll get double priority points if you make a gift today. Oregon Athletics has secured over $50,000 in challenge gifts as well as part of this campaign. It'll be I should say, will be unlocked as we hit different benchmarks throughout this period. GoDucks.com/DucksGive24. GoDucks.com/DucksGive24. We want to have 502 gifts representing one gift for each student athlete competing at the University of Oregon. Big day, Ducks Give. annual around this time of year, graduation coming up. I always get a little sentimental, and I look back on my time as a student. I think about the scholarships that I had as a student, and it made a huge difference for me, being able to graduate and then end up sitting in this chair with all you fine folks. And Caden has to put up with me directing as one of our interns. Scott puts up with me every day. The three of us, Caden's going to be soon graduates of the University of Oregon. Special place. Ducks Give. GoDucks.com/DucksGive24. Baseball this weekend. Also, before we talk with Billy Blood and hear a little bit more on Duck baseball, the Bowerman watch list came out. Jada Ross has made a third consecutive appearance on the Bowerman watch list. That shot put currently ranks 7th in the world where she's distanced. Two-time Pac-12 champion in the shot put and the discus on that Bowerman watch list. I think she's got a good chance to be a finalist. Best of luck to Jada Ross and what's been a great career so far for the Medford, Oregon native. We'll see. Men's golf, some updates on them. Unfortunately, not going to advance to the next round, but here's hoping that they get a little healthier. If you weren't tuned in, Greg Solhag wasn't able to go and had been the best player for the Ducks over the last month or so. That stinks. The Ducks missed the cut line to advance to the national championships. Their season came to a close yesterday in the Baton Rouge Regional at the University Club yesterday afternoon. All right. The moment we've been waiting for. Billy Blood. Getting to know a guy that handles a whole heck of a lot behind the scenes, and I thought would just be a ton of fun for fans to get to know a little bit of the inner workings of a guy that, like I said, just never has a bad day. We caught up with Billy Blood earlier this week, and it's our feature today. All right, I have to do a proper introduction before we start because you know that I love an alliteration. And when I can say Billy Blood, that's a great broadcaster name. Just a fabulous broadcaster name. It's on the all-name team. I mean, but properly, William Blood is here with us, the Associate Athletic Director for Finance and Administration, which is a fancy way of saying, hey, Billy, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm great. How'd I do?
Thanks for having me.
How was
you
that?
did great. I always tell people I've been called a lot of things in my career.
Right.
A lot worse than Billy Blood. So
have you ever been a William, or have you always been a Billy?
So it's always been Billy.
Okay.
Even in high school, and then certainly high school it was Billy or Bill. And then college, it was Billy Blood.
Yeah.
It's just the whole thing.
You're
Billy
not
Blood,
a Bill. So. You're not a Will. You're
no.
a Billy. No,
I'm
definitely
a Billy.
You're a Billy.
No
Okay.
doubt about it.
I know Billy is an avid listener of the show.
Yep.
And on Athletic Director Tuesday, we're talking on a Tuesday, airing a little later. We try to really spread out beyond the AD, Deputy AD, Senior Associate AD, Associate AD, Assistant AD. There's a lot of levels of AD. And that's what I want to get into with Billy today, in addition to like 50,000 other things. But first, we have a tradition. You know about this tradition. I don't have to tell you. There's a leaderboard. The 2-minute life story.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
I don't know if you've been practicing.
I haven't, no.
Okay? But you're a numbers guy. You crunch numbers.
I am a numbers guy. That's true, yeah.
Here we go. The 2-minute life story. Billy Blood, go.
So from Northwest Pennsylvania, originally grew up. Small town, dirt road, Amish for neighbors. Nice. Had quarter horses. Believe it or not, my mom barrel raced. I team roped and calf roped.
Really?
Growing up, yep. Still got it. It's like riding a bike.
I did not know that.
I did that growing up, and then got into like junior high, and that's when I really got into sports. Football, basketball, baseball. So it got to the point where my parents were like, make a decision, right? It's horses or sports. And I joke with people, looking back on that, right, pivotal point in your life. And if I would have chose rodeo, I would not be here. I'd be in Oklahoma or Texas or somewhere chasing the National Finals rodeo. So anyway, chose sports. Ended up getting, got into the sport management. So we had a minor league baseball team in Erie, Pennsylvania. Ended up doing an internship there. Kind of got exposed to the other side of sports, and ended up going to Slippery Rock University.
Fabulous name. I'm glad you said this because, wow, what a name. Continue,
Slippery
please.
Rock University, sport management major, minor in business administration. Very blessed, with opportunities there. So my freshman year, they opened a brand new recreation center, got into that. That's how I got into facilities management. And that's kind of throughout my college career was a reffing intramurals. That's when you get into conflict resolution. Got a lot of experience there. I ended up I want to do my internship with facilities and operations. So my best friend from college, best man at my wedding, he moved to Naples, Florida, told me about Florida Gulf Coast University. Just started their athletics program. This is early 2000s. They opened their doors as a campus in 97.
Wow.
And so a lot of stories, and I'm probably going to go way over the 2 minutes. But me and a couple of my fraternity brothers drove to Florida from Slippery Rock, and I literally I showed up at the doorstep of the athletics department with my resume as part of that trip, and I ended up getting an internship out of that, and ended up doing my internship, and that led into. They had just built a brand new 5,000-seat arena, got the arena management job directly out of my internship.
Wow.
And from there, just extremely blessed with opportunities. The campus grew. The athletics department at the time was D2. We transitioned to D1. Hired Andy Enfield, who was at USC, now SMU. Went on the Dunk City run in 2013. I was there. At that time I was the CFO and kind of the primary administrator on that trip, kind of like the Eric role. Behind the scenes, and met my wife at FGCU. We had started a family, had our daughter. She was 6 months old when Eric actually reached out about the opportunity at Oregon. And I was not looking at all. I loved my job, loved people I worked with, loved what I was doing. But I kind of want to be Eric someday. So and he's someone I really look up to and respect in the industry, along with Rob. And talked to the boss, my wife. Would you live in Oregon? Yep. She's from Maryland, so I'm from Pennsylvania, like I said. And so I applied, and it was like I said, extremely blessed. It was, believe it or not, I took a pay cut coming here. Which, being the finance guy, I don't know how many people are going to believe me on that, but I promise you, pay cut, and I took a couple steps down professionally as far as title-wise. I was senior associate there. I came here as an assistant AD. And but again, big picture in mind, end goal in mind. I knew I needed football experience, cool. and I got a lot of football experience. But moved out here, me and my wife with our 6-month-old daughter at the time. We had a geriatric Jack Russell that we drove from Fort Myers to Eugene. That's another story in and of itself.
That's a far distance there.
My wife jokes. She's like, the only other trip would have been Seattle to work at Washington. It would be the furthest trip that we could have made. Yeah, boo.
Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah.
But no, I mean that's kind of, I guess, in a nutshell, my life and more professionally than personally, but some nuggets there as far as growing up.
411.77. Bravo. Look,
my staff would have said, yeah, the over-under is going to be double the amount of time.
The over-under, take the over.
Yeah.
But look, I always say it's really hard as an 18-year-old to do 2 minutes. You get older, it's a little easier.
I was going to say, talk to me 15 years ago. It would have been like 3 minutes longer.
Yeah, exactly.
A minute, 2.5.
If we did this during the Dunk City run, you would have been like, and now we're here, baby. Right? Like, so, there was a lot to unpack there. First of all, Billy Blood, Slippery Rock University, just chef's kiss. You can't make that up.
No, you can't. You can't. That's a unique one.
That's
for
a
sure.
unique one.
Combination. There's no doubt about it.
Like the bingo card doesn't have those, right? The bingo card doesn't have those. So you mentioned you had a pivotal point where you were like, okay, horses or sports.
Yeah.
Some people would say, similar, right? Similar pivot points, but
no doubt.
So you've gone now throughout sport management. Like, what about it? What about this type of sports? Because I think that there's a lot of people that are like, well, I want to do what Joey does, or I want to do what Scott does. Yeah. There's probably less people that are like, I'm going to be the numbers guy and the administrator in sports. Yet it's such an important part of any operation. How'd you find this as your career?
Yeah, great question. Very unique path to the chair, I will say that. So as I mentioned earlier, I started out in the facilities and operations side. So, I literally, when I started at FGCU, they tossed me the keys to a 5,000-seat arena and said, run it. And looking back on that, it was an awesome opportunity. I'm not thinking this at the time, but, I mean, building it from the ground up. There was no staff. There was no policy procedures. There was none of that. On top of that, it was a hurricane shelter for Lee County in Southwest Florida. So, I had experiences and was exposed immediately out of college and just kind of had to figure it out, type of thing. And so over the years there, my wife always gives me a lot of grief. She's like, you've literally interviewed for one job in your life, and it was the Oregon job, because from my internship, they basically, bypassed the hiring process and just put me in the role as the arena manager. And then over the years,
That's a promotion.
I grew. Yeah.
Promotion.
Well, that's what I tell her. I said my interview was the internship.
Yeah.
And working 110 hours a week, and and then working nights at the student union building at the front desk. There's no substitute for hard work.
Yeah.
There really isn't.
We're talking with Billy Blood. His official title is the Associate Athletic Director, Finance and Administration. I'm telling you, though, the guy's never had a bad day. And one of the best, most involved 2-minute life stories that we've ever gotten. We're going to continue with Billy. Great to get to know him here, at least for everyone on the air. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can make the most out of summer with all your friends. Most of my friends happen to be four-legged.
Your summer starts here, but it all ends June 3rd. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can make the most out of summer with all your friends. Most of my friends happen to be four-legged.
Your summer starts here, but it all ends June 3rd. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon baseball tonight, taking on Washington State. First of 3, 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and noon. Brews and baseball tonight. Today would be a great day to not be the broadcaster if I was going to PK Park. Brews and baseball coming your way tonight. Hope to see a full and packed PK Park this evening. Continuing our conversation with Billy Blood, he is, we affectionately refer to him as the numbers guy, the Associate Athletic Director of Finance and Administration here at the University of Oregon. Picking up where we left off, continuing to talk about that hard work aspect for Billy Blood.
Over time, as the university grew, as the athletics department grew, I just took on more and more and more. So I started as the arena guy and then took over all the athletic facilities. Ticketing was under me, equipment, grounds, and maintenance. There was a transition with athletic directors. And then I want to say it was in 2012, so the year before the Dunk City run, our business manager left. She's now the deputy AD at Maryland. And she was a great friend of mine and still is to this day. And I got the opportunity to move kind of from the facilities and operations side into the finance role. And so, Ken, who was my boss, huge mentor for me in my career, he gave me the opportunity to move into that role. And looking back on it, a lot of it, and my staff will tell you this too, I'm huge on relationships. And I built a lot of really, really strong relationships across campus. So by him putting me in that role, I was able to lean on those relationships and kind of learn the role necessarily. I had a finance experience in my job, but not department.
Right.
I went from a $1 million operation to a $15 million operation, at that time. And, I joke with people, that year when Colleen left, I step into the role, and then a year later it blows up my face because we go on the Dunk City run, the NCAA, and everything changed, right? You know, we were able to capitalize on that institutionally and athletically, and it was a really fun time. So that's how I kind of unique path to the finance role. Once I was in the finance role, that, like I said, I was the CFO, but I also oversaw all the facilities and operations, the grounds, the maintenance. So doing a lot of really different things, and right before I left, it was we were in the stages of planning for an expansion of the arena. So I was doing everything. I was both the construction side and the finance side, which was really unique and cool too, because I was able to learn a lot going through those processes and stuff. And then I left right before they put shovel to dirt, unfortunately. But it all worked out. And again, that's. And then, like I said, Eric, gave me a call. Mary Ellen, my predecessor, another huge mentor of mine, she gave me the opportunity. And I joke with people. I told Mary Ellen on my interview, I said, if you want to hire an accountant, I'm not your guy. I'm not your typical accountant. But don't get me wrong. I know the numbers forwards and backwards, inside and out, because that's my job. But I enjoyed doing a lot of different things.
Well, and that's why I wanted to have Billy on the show. Like I see this behind the scenes, and there's so much that goes into this role. So the title, and the business cards are long whenever we get into this. Associate Athletic Director of Finance and Administration. It's like size 8 font in Billy's email signature. This is a true story. So the day-to-day, I mean, what is the day-to-day when you're managing a lot of different things?
Yeah. Well, something I love about my job is you never really have the same day. You do a lot of the same things, but in different ways. And I think, typical, I guess, would be, a lot of meetings, a lot of staying up on financial reports. And then, I'm also the delegated contracting authority for the athletics department. So I sign literally every contract. It could be a $50 PO or the $5 million Ticketmaster
Which
contract.
brings me to the most important question I'm going to ask. And I'm glad you brought this up. Are you important enough to have a stamp for your signature? And if so, what does the signature look like? How good's the handwriting?
It's a digital stamp.
Oh, we've gone digital. We've gone digital. Good.
COVID kind of accelerated that.
Right.
And it's.
Do you have? You have a stamp though? Do you still have it in the desk?
I don't have the stamp. I don't have the stamp. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know.
Right to the heart.
Mary Ellen might have one, or maybe even Tom actually before me. But I got a digital one.
Okay.
And yeah, you can kind of see the William blood. I mean, it's over time. Again, if you're I sign probably hundreds and thousands of contracts a year, and so it gets to the point where it's the doctor's signature. Right?
Yeah, right. So, right. A lot of contracts. Yeah. Good. But anyway, the day in the life is interesting because it does change so much. And I should say too, like, we're talking here about management, and management comes with a lot of the number crunching. Right?
Yeah,
I can speak to that a little bit, not to the millions of dollars that we're talking about in your case. How do you keep that in perspective, Billy? I mean, because we hear these numbers of millions and millions and millions thrown around athletics and higher education, whatever the industry is. Like,
yep.
Those are big numbers, man. Right?
There is. It is. And I will say it starts with people. It always starts with people. I can't do my job without my team or without our coaching staff and director of ops and all the support staff, ticketing, marketing, concessions. I mean, everybody here is just wonderful. I mean, that's part of, in my opinion, what makes Oregon so special is the people. I guess put it in perspective, I look at it in buckets, right? You got a $150 million budget, of which personnel is 60 to 70% of that, and you got scholarships, and you got debt, and you got like in the buckets, and operations is kind of the last bucket, and then you start to dig down in each of those buckets, right? Scholarships, it's Title IX and men's and women's sports. It's operations similarly, men's and women's sports. Then you got ticketing, marketing, concession, all the different admin units, within that, and then payroll, is payroll. So that's I guess from my perspective, that's kind of how I break it down into buckets. Yes, it's easy to look at a budget and be like, holy cow, but then when you start
pie
digging
charts
down, pie charts, bar graphs, data analytics,
pie charts. You got to go pie chart because it's the O. See.
That's right. That's right.
I'll be here all week. Thanks for being with us. Actually, truthfully, I might not be here all week. My phone could ring. My phone could ring
short
right now. Yeah, and then now also we've always had in the back of our mind, like, what's the emergency phone call if I ever have to leave or if everyone else is out of town? Well, Alex Simpson's here in the studio. We've said that Alex could be an emergency fill-in. He's hosted Duck Insider before. Alex is here. But I'm always looking for new additions to the bench. Matt Ulmer was the emergency fill-in last week because everyone else was gone. I think Billy could be on the list, folks.
It's an hour show, right?
Yeah.
It'd probably be a 4-hour show, unfortunately.
Hey, look, I mean, the 2-minute live story was just over 4 minutes. That fills it up. I mean, we're going to need that. So I'm saying, again, Alex, as broadcaster, Billy Blood, great broadcaster name, right? So good. So anyway, back to, because we're not going to try to add things to your list of responsibilities if we can help it. But overseeing so many things, you talked about kind of starting with people. Now moving forward, Billy, like, there's so much going on around college athletics. How do you, in your position, keep that part of it in perspective? Like, yeah you've got an operations day-to-day, but then what are we going to do 10 years from now? I mean, you're thinking about that too. How do you handle that in your role?
Yeah, great question. I think it starts more I guess locally in terms of what are we trying to accomplish now this year, right? Then it kind of expands in the next fiscal year. So we just went through that process in January where we're looking out with our transition into the Big Ten, which is really exciting for everybody. And then, but to your point, you have these court cases that are going on right now that are absolutely going to have some pretty monumental impacts in our industry. And I'd be lying to you if I told you what those are going to be, because I don't think anybody really knows what they're going to be. We have some ideas of what it may or may not look like, but a lot of it hinges on what the outcomes of those cases are. And then once those things happen, then how do you pivot and move forward? It's no different than name, image, and likeness, right? 4 or 5 years ago that wasn't a thing, and here we are. In a relatively short period of time, and I think Oregon does it the right way, and we do a great job of it within the the rules and the regulations, and that's the crazy thing too. It's different everywhere you go, right? There's different state laws and things that you have to think about when you're going through those things. So I think for me, that's kind of how I look at it. Kind of the steps. Locally, what are we trying to accomplish today, this week, the next month, next year, and then how does that impact, to your point, 5-10 years from now? Because I'm really big on strategic thinking and trying to think, to your point, that far in advance. What can we do today to set us up in a better position for tomorrow?
We're going to know Billy Blood some interesting insights throughout our conversation. Part 3 is coming up. He's the Associate Athletic Director for Finance and Administration. This is fun for me. Steve said on YouTube just now, Joey, I can tell you really like your new chair. You're a lot more animated now. Steve, I cannot express to you how great the new chair is. Jess Drummond, thanks, Jess. And Ray, I owe you one. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
You're listening to Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Duck Baseball tonight, a 5:45 pregame show. 6 o'clock first pitch, Oregon, Washington State. Final regular season series for Duck Baseball coming up this weekend. It's also Ducks Give Day. We're closing in on 502 gifts, one for each Oregon student athlete. And I understand that fans, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, thanks to your donations, we've already unlocked the first tier of those extra gifts, those special gifts that are locked until we get to that goal of 502. Thanks for your support. Ducks Give Day across the university means a lot for the greater University of Oregon community. Part 3 of our conversation now with Billy Blood, the Associate Athletic Director for Finance and Administration, a great guy with some great perspective on where things are going. He's an integral part of everything that operates behind the scenes. Part 3 of our chat with Billy Blood. Billy Blood with us. Now, there's always, too, a lot of narratives, and this is true of any business, and then there's the numbers. And I try to put this in perspective, but the reason that the athletic director segment exists on the show is because I'm a professional regurgitator, right? I just listen to people that are a lot smarter than me, and then I regurgitate it back to everybody. So there's a lot of narratives, and then there's the numbers, right? What do you wish that I talked about more? What do you, I guess, want fans to know about how all this kind of happens with those narratives and numbers and everything else in the world?
Yeah, I guess a couple of things there, Joey. I would say, first and foremost, we're very unique at Oregon, meaning we're financially self-sufficient, and that is not prevalent in our industry. So you have 360, 370, however many Division I schools across the country, and I want to say 20 of them are financially self-sufficient, and we are one of them.
And
meaning
it's been that way for
a long time, and quite frankly, that was something that intrigued me, in digging into before I applied for the job. Getting experience in that. Not a lot of people get an opportunity to work in a department like this. That we don't get student fees. There's no institutional support financially. We certainly get a lot of support in other areas, just not financially. And so that's unique to us at Oregon. We generate all of our own resources in.
You're talking in athletics, right?
In athletics, yeah, correct.
So I should say, like, when you hear phrases from me on the show, whatever, like as a true auxiliary, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, 100%. To give folks kind of an idea, the institution I came from in Florida, students paid a fee, an athletics fee. It was $15 a credit hour, whatever it was. That generated several $1 million a year to help fund the athletics department, and in turn. There was things that we would do for students to help them out, but there's other things, that out-of-state scholarship waivers that were no financial impact to the athletics department, but the institution would take that on. So for athletics there, you could recruit an out-of-state student athlete, and financially the department would pay in-state tuition, and then the campus would pick up the rest of it. Wherever that delta was. Whereas here we're paying full boat. Out of state, and as you guys know, most of our student athletes are out of state. We're recruiting them. We're a national brand, and we recruit nationally, internationally, in some cases. And so, I would start there, and then the other thing I think that's very important for folks to know is we're very strategic in how we spend the resources. And you're right, it is easy to look at Oregon and say they have everything they could ever want, and and that's just not the reality across the country. I mean, I think if you talk to any coach, they can think of other things they would want, right? And so, what we do, I think, and I feel like we do a really good job of this. And again, it comes down to the people, is just working together and trying to accomplish things. And we may have to do it in a different way. Maybe in a lot of lot of my job, quite frankly, is working with third-party vendors to help us get there.
Yep.
And I will say, we're uniquely positioned because we are Oregon, and people want to be affiliated and associated with us because of our brand and what we do and how we do things. And so there's a component there that we can work with vendors on. Hey, we need this service or we need this good for our team or our administrative unit. What can we do to partner? And and obviously working through Learfield too. There's a lot of great partnerships and stuff that we have here at Oregon. So yes, the numbers are big when you look at them, but when you start boiling it down, for people to want to accomplish what they want to accomplish, whether that's ticketing, marketing, women's golf, whoever. They don't have everything, and they can't have everything because there's a finite amount of resources, and that's my job, is to make sure that everybody works within those resources. And I'm not just talking money too; it's time and people.
Yeah.
I'm very cognizant of that. Yeah, absolutely. If a great example is that if one of our programs wants to maybe install a video system at out in one of our facilities. Probably a lot of because of my background, I'm thinking of the facilities guys. I'm thinking of our IT guys. Or how does that impact them? Because we could put this stuff.
Cost?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, or infrastructure, right? Is there power there? Is there data? Things. Again, probably because of my background, I think about those types of things. But more globally, yes, there's a financial impact. I don't want there to be a human impact too, right? Time and effort from our folks, because we're relatively I guess from a small staff, and quite frankly, that was one of the things that I really loved about Oregon too. Is we're big time college athletics, but we don't have 500 staff members running around here.
No, we don't.
and I again, comes down to the people, and I think that's why we are so successful. Is we have a lot of really good people that care about this place, that do a great job, and they all work together to accomplish whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish.
Well said. I think that there is a narrative for all the right reasons that Oregon has a lot, and then also there's people like Billy that make that happen. So, hey, thanks for doing this.
I appreciate it.
I hope you had fun.
I did. I was a little, I'm a little concerned. Like I'm never in the public eye, always in the background.
And you never know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I understand.
That's true.
Now I have to tell one story though, because this is what Duck Insider is. This is some inside information. So I went through, and part of why, as you know, I make people tell the 2-minute life story is I can read your bio, I can do all that, but I don't know what you're proud of. I don't know what gets you to where you are. Well, you went through that, but let's just go through, if we could, a few things that are listed on Billy's bio. An annual operating budget, he manages it. Management of the athletics procurement processes, that includes a lot of abbreviations that I don't even know what they all mean.
Higher education is acronyms.
Right, exactly. Yes. That's true. Financial reporting and cash fund reconciliation, special events / concert settlements, and serves in the role of the department's delegated contracting authority. Also, Billy helps the equipment team unload the equipment truck every single football road trip. I'm talking the night before. He is in the semi with the team unloading the truck. Billy, that ain't in the bio. I need to add it to the bio.
It's not. That's I love that you brought that up. Shout out Pooh and Kenny and Devin and Austin before him.
It's not in the bio, guys. Other duties as assigned.
Every opportunity I get, again, I love those guys. They do a great job, and I'll be honest with you guys, I enjoy doing those types of things because it gives me perspective.
You get to see what they're doing.
Because 100%. A funny story. One of our strength conditioning coaches that was here a couple of years ago, they came into my office and said, "Hey, we need to buy a cart for the weights," because they did this Fast Friday training, pregame, whatever, and. Had it not been for me helping, with unloading the truck and being in those positions, and again, I appreciate those guys letting me, because I always tell them, like, I don't want to get in your way, and but another set of hands and legs to move things around. I don't think they're going to pass it down, but I got to see firsthand how they laid out stuff, and the cart, it's not cheap. It was like a $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 cart, whatever it was, but. Because I was there helping them unload the weights and I'm like, yeah, that's a good investment. Yeah. That is a good investment.
The amount of time and body parts saved in that operation.
Exactly.
See? No, exactly. I've always loved that. And I had to make sure that I told that story, because I went, see, this is something that people would never know. that Billy's there on the truck also.
That's true.
Hey,
I appreciate
thanks
that,
for
man.
doing this.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're gonna have to come back, right? yeah. Now you're on the rotation. Okay.
Oh boy.
That pitching staff, our athletic director Tuesday pitching staff's gotten deeper. The rotation, we can cycle through some people. Billy Blood, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
I'm really glad that we could have Billy on. There's so many people around this athletic department, this university that I try to think like, okay, how can we pull him in for an interview? And finally, I just went into Billy's office and was like, Billy, you're an awesome guy. Let's get you on the show. And he agreed to do it, and I'm glad that he did. There's so much that happens behind the scenes with budgeting and the stuff that doesn't happen on the field that he's involved in that's really important. Contracts are a big deal in any business. He's also got an office that's covered with memories of everywhere that he's been, and it's awesome. Thanks to Billy Blood, for coming on the show. When we come back, Bryce Betcher giving us the breakdown of who would come with him from the baseball team to play football and vice versa. Also, it's Oregon Baseball Game Day. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can make the most out of summer with all your friends. Most of my friends happen to be four-legged.
Your summer starts here, but it all ends June 3rd. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can make the most out of summer with all your friends. Most of my friends happen to be four-legged.
Your summer starts here, but it all ends June 3rd. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Amethyst and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Tonight at 5:45, our pregame show for Oregon baseball. Brews in baseball tonight at the Yard. The Ducks' birthday tomorrow at 6 o'clock when Oregon faces Wazoo in Game 2. And then it's Senior Day coming up on Saturday. One of the Ducks featured on Senior Day will be Bryce Betcher, the two-sport star. Had some fun catching up with him earlier this week. Bryce Betcher talking Duck baseball and a little bit of Duck football.
What kind of a baseball player would Devin Jackson be? Oh man, he'd be a great pinch runner. He'd probably do what I do in the outfield too, lay out for every ball. But yeah, he'd be pretty good.
Do you hear that from football teammates? Like, oh, I could do that, or or I'm sure some guys can't believe the way you balance it. But are there some guys that think they can pull it off?
Yeah, no, there's numerous guys that'll be like, hey, you got to take me to the cages, man. I got to show you what I got. Over half of them, are full of it. But there has been a couple that are, played in high school and they're not bad. So it's fun to hear all those in the locker room.
Who are they?
There's a guy on the team last year, or I guess 2 years ago, Jabril McNeil. I don't know if that name rings a bell, but he was telling me, yeah, I played in high school. I was pretty good. And I was like, nah, man, I don't know if I believe it. Took him to the cages, and he could actually swing it. He's no longer with us. But remember I was talking to Popo a little bit last year, and he's like, yeah, man, if Waz needs a first baseman and Birch, it's like, if Waz needs a first baseman or a pitcher, I'm all in. But I remember Patrick Herbert actually had a nasty knuckleball in high school, so, he might be able to come out and throw some innings for us.
If you had to build an outfield out of your football teammates, who would you pick to play your corners?
Yeah, I'd be in center. I'd stick Devin Jackson probably in right field next to me. Left field, the ball slices a lot, so that's more of a cerebral position. Good first steps. I'd probably put Connor Soley out there too in left field. Yeah, he can cover some ground, and his first steps are good, so I'd put him in left.
What kind of emotions are you experiencing this week? Looking ahead to this weekend and everything that's on the line, but the weather's supposed to be nice. Could be some good crowds too. Just what kind of sense of anticipation do you have?
Yeah, I'm just excited for the weekend. Obviously it's the last home weekend in the regular season, and it's bring back a lot of memories throughout the years. But business is business. Like to go on and get a sweep and just finish off strong with the guys. Looking ahead, so I'm excited.
Are there any extra emotions that this is the Pac-12, the final one for Oregon here against Washington State, or is it just business as usual?
Yeah, all you can bet on in life has changed, so I've kind of accepted the fact that after these games we may not have another game at home. Hopefully we win out and get to host another one, but I've accepted it, and it is what it is. But excited, looking forward.
You were part of the team last year, obviously, the 10-game winning streak down there at the stretch of it all. How important is momentum here in this final series to try to get you guys into the Pac-12 tournament and try to continue it there?
Yeah, it's very important. That's what I've tried to preach to the guys and obviously our coaches is momentum's everything in baseball. Whether it's every pitch, every inning, and then every game leading up to the tournament, it's very important. So if we can carry that into this weekend and then into the next weekend, it's going to be good results for the Ducks.
Out of curiosity, if you had to pick baseball teammates to go play football with you, who would you pick? Where'd you put them?
Yeah, that's a good one. Bennett Thompson, very sneaky arm. That dude can sling the rock. We'll be in the Mo. He can throw it 50, 60 yards. So I could see him being a quarterback. On the defensive side of the ball, I'd take Chase Megers, maybe at safety. I mean, he's not the fastest guy, but I'm sure he could hit someone. Mason Neville, I'd put him at corner probably, just because of how much he talked to everyone. It's that's just what corners do, and he's fast and athletic, so I'd put him over there at corner. And then who else? Who I'd put on the D line? I mean, Jacob Walsh would be a good DN for us. He'd fill the gaps and be a good edge for the defense. So that's my pick.
You brought up Mason there, but yeah, he's been doing a lot better recently. Just what have you seen from him in the outfield and then also at the plate?
Yeah, man, he's that dude hits bombs and he runs fast. He's an exciting player to watch because sometimes he makes incredible plays look difficult, and then makes incredible plays look easy. He's finds a way to get the job done in tough situations. So he's been fun addition to the team, and adds an energy to the bus into the dugout that not a lot of people can. So he's a funny guy. I enjoy his presence.
I think we talked to you after the Oregon State game where you had 2 homers. You said that you were seeing the ball well, had some mechanical adjustments. Just now that it's been another week here, 2 weeks, just how has that been going? How have the adjustments been being made, and how do you feel at the plate?
Yeah, I feel good. It's mostly just mental adjustments, getting into the later part of the season, making sure I'm staying present when I'm in the box, and going from Oregon State to then the UW series. I obviously didn't have as good of a series as I did against the one game against Oregon State, but I still feel good. Ball's coming in good, and looking forward to this weekend.
I feel like the offense is kind of clicking right now. You guys against Utah, you put up runs. It was the rain. It was kind of clunky. At least that's how Waz described it. But
yeah,
this last weekend, a lot of home runs, a lot of runs. Just feel like the offense is kind of clicking.
Yeah, it was cool to see because you had Carter, Garrotti, obviously Drew Smith had a good weekend, and guys that I can't say didn't always put up numbers because they have, but it was just a bunch of guys that haven't stereotypically put up the numbers in the past that were just carrying our offense, which was really cool to see. And yeah, anytime you can hit homers and get guys on base and score runs versus just manufacturing them and trying to score them like we did in the past against Utah in the wet, it was fun to see, and hopefully that'll carry into this weekend.
Have the emotions kind of hit you about potentially playing a PK for the last time this weekend, or
yeah,
does it just go day by day?
Yeah, it's they've hit me. I've processed them. Especially, it was weird at UW. I was thinking about it on the bus ride home. We had a little bus ride home to Eugene, so I was thinking about it. But they're through their process. I'm sure on Saturday at the senior ceremony, and then after the game, it'll hit me again. But I'm just looking forward to getting a sweep with the guys this weekend.
That's Bryce Betcher talking all things Duck baseball. Had a little fun talking about the football-baseball overlap. Connor Soley and Devin Jackson flanking him in the outfield. That's fun. Notice that they were all linebackers that he mentioned. The guys that would come over to the baseball field. Yeah, it's like there's some positional connection there or something. That's Bryce Betcher, Senior Day. Coming up, it'll be here before they know it. I like that he said, hey, it hit him a little bit. He's processing, and it's coming up. When we come back, another senior, because Oregon women's golf is preparing for the National Championships tomorrow. We'll have some live updates for you on the show tomorrow. And when we come back, hearing from the player they call CCT on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot fast and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon women's golf in Carlsbad. The Ducks are going through their practice round today. The NCAA Championships begin tomorrow. And before they took off, we talked with Derek Radley on the show yesterday. He told that great story about how the team actually got together and huddled up. It wasn't the coaches that brought that on. It was their senior leader in who they call CCT. It's one of the greatest nicknames, by the way, that we've had. CCT talked with us in the media before the Ducks took off for Carlsbad.
You've obviously been on this stage before. What's it like? What's your sense of excitement, anticipation, getting a chance to go back?
I think we just last year, we didn't really get a chance to go, and then it's kind of like the revenge for us. And then I always have this quote that I believe from one of the team last year, that if it happens, so redemption follows.
Yeah.
I think that also has been my slogan for the year personally, and then I think we're really excited to go back and then enjoy this final ride for all the girls with me.
Seems like 2 years ago you kind of rode a wave of momentum into the NCAA Championships. Do you feel like you're having some momentum right now after how you guys performed last week?
Yeah, I definitely feel a lot more confident, and then I feel a lot more comfortable with all the girls with me, and then with all our coaches and then all the staff, that this is nothing really new for me, but some of the girls that may feel really new, but I just wish that I can really help them to be comfortable out there and then just do themselves. Yeah.
Coach Radley talked about before the third round in the regional, the player meeting that you called.
Yeah.
Could you just take us through that? Why you called the meeting, what you got out of it before that great third round in the regional?
Yeah, I think we didn't really do like a huddle up for the past 2 rounds, and I just feel like as a team leader or like just as a player that I want the best of us. So I just wish I can spend a little time talk with our girls, and I just said like everybody's being really excited, like they're gonna motivate themselves to go out there and shoot the best they can, but like just we like to do the best, but just stay really present because we have some compound mistakes for the past 2 rounds, and then so just kind of like a reminder that when you're a little trouble, which is okay, like think about your teammates because you're not alone, and then also make sure you believe each other, and then just like all of us believe each other, and then just go out and have fun.
Well, and at the college level too, like it's unique for golf that it is a team sport a little bit. Like
right.
how nice is that heading into now the national championships?
I think just like coming up with it 2 years ago that I put 100% faith in our team, and then in our mind of my teammates that I was first off, but I feel like I have the 4 strongest players that I have my back, and I can just go shoot out the best I can, and then because I know I have so much faith in them that they are gonna do the best for the Ducks. Yeah.
You've got this young group. How ready are some of these freshmen, you think, to try to thrive on this stage?
Yeah, I think they're totally freshmen, not just like I was there 5 years ago, but still, I see a lot of potentials, and then I see a lot of calmness, competitiveness in their selves, and then I also really excited for like we have our 2 seniors, or not me personally, super seniors, and then 2 freshies coming in, but I believe we have a really good combinations as a team, so I think they're ready for it, and then we're all ready for it.
Ching-Soo Chen, CCT, her nickname. That's what it's odd. Like I've never heard anyone, as long as she's been here, call her anything other than CCT. That's just always been CCT, CCT, CCT. And she's one of the leaders for this team, putting together a great run over the last couple weeks. They had some momentum out of the Pac-12 championships. They've had some roster movement that Coach Radley's talked about. Had some great momentum after that third round in the NCAA regionals. Ducks went from battling to make the cut to at one point surging into first place and then finish second comfortably ahead of that cut line. Tomorrow, the Ducks tee off in Carlsbad as part of the NCAA Championships. The way that it'll work over the weekend, it'll whittle down in stroke play after one cut, and then the top 8 teams will advance to match play. And here's hoping we've got a lot more updates for you on Oregon women's golf over the next, few days, over the next week. Duck baseball tonight. Also, men's golf wrapping up their season. More details on GoDucks.com. The Ducks finish up in the regionals, and track and field just announced sending 44 to the West prelims. We'll break that down for you on the show tomorrow. See you at PK Park tonight, 6 o'clock first pitch.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation